Happy Monday, everybody. I'm just back with some more daily numerology. Today is April 10th, 2023. In our inner world, we have a 10. In our outer world, we have a 12. Okay, which reduces down to a 3 over to 1 and a 3, right? So the 10 is, I'll give you the key words for it. It's intuition, fortune, luck, a turn for the better, right? That's all pretty positive. Sometimes when the wheel turns, depending on how we've proceeded through the last 9 cycles, the 10 may come up kind of challenging. But what it just shows you that if there's a challenge, it just shows you what you need to work on in the next cycle, so that challenge doesn't happen again as you go through the next cycle. And this is very important when it comes to like monthly and yearly vibrations. When you have like yearly vibrations, we're in a vibration every year. As you go through that, when you get to your 9 and you go back into a 1, but the 10 is like, it's showing you like what has come through those 9 cycles. And sometimes you're like, things are really good, or sometimes you're like, oh, like you've got to learn some more, or it's showing you what you need to work on so that when you finish that cycle, you're in a different place. You know what I mean? But in our weekly daily, it's the same kind of energy, just a little bit more, not as intense. Okay. So with intuition, fortune, luck, a turn for the better, that's like beautiful. Okay. So that's the energy of the 10. Okay. The energy of your inner world. Okay. It's the idea that I think that our intuition is really the thing that's heightened in those keywords. I think that yesterday, I was feeling that energy. I was excited. But within this, like, it's almost like a portal, this renewal energy. It's like a renewal portal that we get to step through, right? And as we step through it, our intuition becomes even stronger, right? Our heart knowing becomes even more intense. It becomes even more like aligned, okay? And what can happen with that is ideas can spark today. Like actually pretty important ideas could come out of today's energy because of that intuition, okay? There could be a spark of an idea that plays a big part in you forming your dreams. Okay? And that spark of an idea comes through your intuition and also the acceptance that you have for yourself, which has to do with the 3 on the outside, but we're going to talk about this right now. Because you have put in the care and love for yourself, because that has happened, and that brings you more in line with energy, and we're in this portal, and you're able to step through this portal. This really, makes the lantern on the intuition, that love light and that heart. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like noon in the middle of the day on the desert. You know what I mean? It's like bright. It's bright, man. It's bright. And because it's so in tune, like we're so aligned through that, like self-care and self-love and being in alignment through that things really spark out. It's like, you know what I mean? It already happened to me this morning. So I know that it's the energy is very high for this today. Okay. And it could come in the idea could sprout from a synchronicity that comes into your zone. Okay. So, one of those synchronicities, whether it be like a number message, a word message, a picture message, something you see on the phone, like just that, any of the synchronicities can happen in any shape or form, right? And that synchronicity could spark the fresh idea. And the reason you're open to the synchronicity is because of the self-care and the portal, and it's like everything's right there for you, okay? And so all these things come into play today to spark this new idea, which plays a part in the new beginning of the 10 for a turn for the better. The idea is going to make things go in another direction, okay? And the intuition is bringing that forth, which can bring fortune and luck with it as well in this 10, okay? And maybe the fortune and luck is just the fortune, the abundance is just the idea that sparks through. And You know, that's the fortunate. And then the luck is that you put the idea out there and it's accepted and like, yeah, let's do it. Something like that. You know what I mean? It sets forth on a path. And it's a great energy because we're in a 1 energy. Sorry, guys. So then on the outside world, we have this 12-3, okay? 12-3, its main component is it's a stop, look, and listen. That's the idea of the 12, okay? However, in today's energy, this 12 is about acceptance, okay? The 12 is about like staying in the flow of things that stop and go, and to not react, and to kind of just things like, whatever happens, just stop, look, and listen. Don't react, don't respond, just kind of chill with the energy. But it's about, and that's about acceptance. Being able to be passive and sympathetic and accepting. And this happens when you do this. You kind of just like sit back and let things happen as they are. You're accepting the energy. You're accepting what's happening, and started trying to change it, fight it, make it different. It's about accepting. So that energy is reflecting back on you in this like sparking of ideas, fresh start, really forming dreams, right? Coming through. That acceptance is shining back on you, reminding you, okay, that you have the ability to make this all happen. Because when in the past you have accepted things as they are, it's a much smoother process. When you fight against the flow and you don't accept how things are, and you try to change divine timing, you hit a wall. You hit a big wall. You slam into a wall sometimes. And that shit really hurts, I'm going to tell you, you know, because you rushed energy. So the 12-3 is reminding you, right, as this idea sparks, that more success comes through being chill and accepting and not trying to push it. Just because the idea is coming through doesn't mean we have to go full force ahead today. It's about letting the idea come through, let it flow out, see what happens from it when you put the idea out, and then just sit with it and accept it how it is. And then as we come into tomorrow, maybe more things fall down the line in the 2, okay? Maybe tomorrow in the 2, somebody comes and helps you out. It's an 11-day, so there's that energy as well. Or somebody comes in and inspires the next step in the process of that fresh idea. You know, that kind of thing. And so within this energy today, okay, there's a lot to be said in this turn for the better. As the wheel is turning, right? The wheel always turns. The wheel always comes back. We're always in a cycle, okay? I want you to remain in this new cycle. I think that things may come up under the 11-month vibration this week. And I think that there may be some challenges coming through to balance you, okay? And this is a good example. This is a physical accident. I got a flat tire yesterday, okay? It all worked out. It was all good. And I'm so grateful that I have the money right now to actually buy 4 new tires. I need new tires, like, period, end of story. And this was a challenge from the 11. Like, hey, like, you need to balance this out. This is not working. And this all needs to get balanced out. And so I made an appointment to get my tires done for Friday. But that's like an idea of what the energy is about this month, okay? It's going to bring in something to bring balance. So within this week, this is what I want you to do. I want you to try to remain as childlike playful as you can. The more playful you are, the more fun you try to have, even despite what's happening, the better you're going to stay on top of that flow. Make a joke out of it. Find what's funny in it. Like, do your best to do that, okay? Because the playfulness allows our energy to be lighter, okay? Remember to forgive yourself in moments of challenge when you're frustrated, right? And you're not on top of the flow and you're like, F this. Like, what is happening right now? You know what I mean? Why is this happening to me right now? Remember that when you have that reaction, it's okay. And when you get to a point where you are able to be aware of it, you accept it and forgive yourself for having it. It's okay. Like, it's okay. It's all about the awareness. Just because you can't in the moment be like, oh, it's fine. That's okay. Like, we all got our thing. We're all moving energy all the time. It's just learning how to be aware of it. You know, it could take a minute, but then you're like, oh, and then you can be like, you can forgive yourself for having that reaction. Okay. And that makes your energy lighter as well as we kind of flow into the middle of this month. Okay. And there's something about today that has the idea of like a spiritual partnership and enchantment around that. And a spiritual partnership could be a soulmate. It could be a lot of things, okay? There's a lot of different like words for the people that we are connected to, because it's not just about love relationships. That's not what it's all about. If we all came from one source, if you believe that, and we all dropped down from this one source, then we're all connected in that way, okay? We just happen to fall with certain souls out of that big bubble, and as those bubbles fall down, or pods, whatever you like to call them, as they come down, they came down from source. Now we have a smaller bubble with all this connection, and then that separated, and then we have this bubble with all this connection, and then we separate. And sometimes this is Nikki's credit, like sometimes what happens is they split, but they can split in terms of like 7, 8, 3, 2, 4, and stay that way as they come down. So when you think of like soulmates and twin flames and not really understanding the difference between them, the soulmates are the people in the bubble. So the twin flames are included in it. And not everyone has a twin flame. I could make a whole video about it. I can explain the whole thing in its phenomenon. If anybody wants me to do a full like explanation of the twin flame journey, I will be more than happy to do so. I just don't want to put it out there if nobody wants to hear it, but I have a lot to say about it, and a lot to say, and what I believe in also. I'm not saying I am the be all end all of what my belief is, but it's what my belief is, and it's what's real to me. So, but not everyone's a twin flame, because when those bubbles drop, sometimes I said, it's like Nikki, this information came to her that it was like 3s and 4s and 7s and 8s and 2s. So the 2s, the bubbles that separated that were just 2, those are the twin flame idea, okay? Which makes a lot of sense to me, and that information validated a lot for me. But within that, right? So when we say spiritual partnership or we say soulmate, we're not just talking about love relationships. We're talking about the people in our lives, the people that come into our lives that we're like, as my friend Linda says, I know you. You are so familiar. That energy is a soulmate connection, where you meet somebody and it's like, I've known you my whole life. That feeling, everybody knows it. I know you've all had it, and there's people in your life and you share that with because you've traveled together from your existence and beyond. And so in this energy today, only because it came out in the cards, I think that there is a strong enchantment around soulmate spiritual partnership energy today. Enchantment. Beautiful. Enchantment, like the feeling you get when you see a beautiful woman riding through a magical forest on a unicorn. When you have that vision and you see that, I have a friend who is that image. Oh my God. She's a unicorn though. But within that, like when you see that vision, how does that make you feel? Okay. And that feeling, that enchantment is going to come through today with some sort of soulmate or spiritual partner. And I don't want you to completely put yourself in a box around like intimate love relationships. It's beyond that. And there's something about this 10 energy today that it plays a part in. So be aware of that. Somebody may come in today that you're like, wow, I know you. And it's because of this portal energy that it shows up. Or somebody that's already in your life, you guys connect today. You have a connection today, you come in contact today, and it's enchanting. And it helps you, it also may help spark that idea as well going forward. So I hope you guys have an amazing Monday, and like if you want, right? Comment if you want, or don't. I really appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.